Hello, if you've been here before, welcome back. If not, hi, my name is David. I make videos talking about media that I want to talk about. This is me, I guess, I don't know if it's soft launching or hard launching or something like that. I am announcing that I want to be want to participate in and do stuff within Filmtube. I've been doing stuff for BookTube because I read a lot of books, especially during work. But part of my New Year's resolution is to consume more movies and talk about movies. And I'm specifically in school right now in the university for film, learning about script writing and film editing. And so I want to talk about movies a lot more. Part of my New Year's resolution is that I watch a lot more movies next year, or I guess I don't know when this video is coming out, but in 2026. I want to watch at least 4 movies each month. And I will want to also use my Letterbox account, which I've just passively been using, but now I want to use Letterbox almost as much as I use Goodreads for my books. And I will have in the description below, I will have the link to my account. So if you want to be friends on Letterbox, please friend me and I'll follow you back. And I want to participate more in FilmTube and make videos about movies. For now, I'm thinking of doing like monthly watch reviews, watch wrap-ups, similar to reading wrap-ups. I do monthly reading wrap-ups for every month, what I read in that month. And I want to do something for movies, what I watched that month as well. And so like the goal is to watch at least 4 movies every month, and I'll make videos about that. I also might want to do some videos on script analysis. There's some essays that I had to write for my script analysis class that I might want to make into a video, or just a video talking about different types of script things that I really like. Also, maybe assorted movie talks, just talking about movies that just came out recently, or movies comparisons, movies that I like and stuff like that. I don't know. I will also take suggestions from you, the viewer. If you're part of FilmTube, if you watch people who are part of FilmTube, who do stuff with films, let me know what you think I could do as well to be part of this. For now, monthly wrap-ups, script analysis, stuff like that, alongside concurrently with the things that I'm still doing with BookTube and podcast content as well. So yeah, if you have any ideas, please let me know. I know alongside that, part of my New Year's resolution to read more books is to keep a movie journal. And so I bought this thick journal from Sam Flax, and I thought it looked nondescript enough, but still detailed, that I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. This is inside. I'll make a video talking about my movie journal at some point once I start filling it in. And I just want to keep track of the movies I watch in here alongside the movies I watch on Letterbox. And so, my goal is to reach, I think, 40 movies, 50 movies. I wrote down 50 movies next year. And I think with 4 movies every month, and then maybe I think that's 4 times 12 is 48. So 50 movies is my goal for next year. It's not going to fill this up, but maybe I'll have more than 50. I don't know. And yeah, I want to be a screenwriter, so I want to immerse myself more in this culture, in this art form, and just be able to talk about it more. And I hope to also refine my critique language as well. I feel like, I will be taking a film criticism class sometime next year, probably in the fall, I think, or the 27 spring. I'm not fully sure, but start having this growth of how I talk about movies and stuff like that, and seeing how other people talk about movies. I want to grow my language for critiquing movies and stuff like that, and obviously also learn from script writing and seeing good movies, and what they do with their script as well. And so part of, I guess, my intro into FilmTube is credentials, I guess. Really quickly, I wanted to do some wrap-up, I guess, for the year. This year, I watched a total of 64 films in 2025. I said that I want to do 50 for next year because this year I had definitely a lot more movies that I watched because I was in a specific class where we watched a lot of movies. But then towards the fall semester, I didn't have that. And so that sort of changed the amount of movies that I was watching. I definitely watched a lot more movies earlier in the year than later in the year. And I'm going to be showing pictures of all the movies that I watched in the year. They're sorted by release date. So, I have some movies that are like more recently come out, and then going back in history a little bit more. And then I took one screenshot of the last four on Letterboxd because I still have ads, so it cuts it off weirdly, whatever. So yeah, 64 movies, and I wanted to talk about some of them. So these are my top 10 movies in 2025. Going from ranked from lowest to highest, number 10 to 1. So number 10 is The Color of Pomegranates, directed by Sergei Parajanov. It came out in 1969. I gave it 4 stars. This was part of I did not have to watch it for my class, but it was definitely part of a textbook that sounded interesting. A lot of the movies that I have on my watch list right now is movies that I heard about from my film history class. So it's a lot of historical movies, which is why you saw a lot of historical movies in the movies that I watched last year. This year, this movie was pretty trippy. It was really good. It was very gay as well, which I was very surprised about. I know in the textbook it mentioned that I believe Sergei Parajanov was, I don't know if he's still alive, was gay, and he had like gay subtext in the story, and I definitely saw that. And I feel like the visual emotion of this film was really good. There's barely any story, but that's fine with how powerful and how trippy the film is. I really enjoyed it and definitely stuck with me. Also inspired Lady Gaga's 9/11 music video, and I love Lady Gaga, so there you go. Number 9, High and Low, directed by Akira Kurosawa, come out in 1963. I also gave it 4 stars. I believe this was my first Kurosawa movie. I watched another one, and I forget I watched 2 other ones. I forgot what they were, but High and Low was my favorite of those 3. They were all really good. I just forget exactly which ones I did and didn't. But High and Low was amazing. I loved it. It was 4 stars. It may have been a little bit longer than I wanted. It's just over 2 hours long. I'm fine with long movies. It just definitely felt a bit too long. But, I'm the coughing baby to the hydrogen bomb of Akira Kurosawa, so I can't really critique that. It was a great mystery and thriller. It's so I forgot to say the plot for Color of Pomegranates, but there's barely no plot. But in High and Low, it's about this wealthy business CEO whose chauffeur's son gets kidnapped, thinking that the kidnappers thought that it was the wealthy CEO's son that they were kidnapping and wanting to ransom to get money. And so the investigation about trying to find this chauffeur's son, going through like very tense moment trying to outwit the kidnappers, to actually doing the investigation, to actually arresting the kidnapper. Amazing talent, amazing acting, amazing blocking. So good. This was it was in black and white, but it looked beautiful, and I absolutely loved this movie. And highly recommend. I mean, it's Akira Kurosawa. Come on. Number 8 is Oddity, directed by Damian McCarthy, which came out in 2024. I also give 4 stars. It's about a blind woman whose sister is killed, and in the year anniversary, she goes to her sister's husband's house and gifts him something odd. And it's a great horror movie that came out last year. It made a somewhat big splash on social media, which is where I get most of the movies that I want to watch on social media. Follow me on my Twitter. All my links are in the description below. Anyways, great atmosphere, terrifying, yet somewhat unsatisfying. The plot progressed in ways that was very surprising, and it was unsatisfying in that I expected some things to happen that they didn't happen, which is neither a good nor a bad thing. It's just it was unsatisfying to me, but it was still really amazing to watch. It was entertaining to watch, and it has such a deep story as well, because The blind woman, she owns an antique store, and there's so much history in the small times that we see in her antique store of antiques that are haunted, that have entire stories that could be made about them, and we're not going to see those. And I think that's just a really beautiful thing to have. And yeah, I really enjoyed this horror movie. Number 7 is VHS 85. And so what I've done is I took all the 5 segments. It's an anthology horror film. Came out in 2025, or no, I did not write down when it came out. I believe it came out 2025 or 20, no, 23. I'm sorry, I should check that. Anyways, it's a horror anthology set around the year of 1985, and so I have separated the 5 films and the directors. So we have No Wake Ambrosia, which is surrounding a lake that if you get wet in it, you cannot die. Directed by Mike P. Nelson. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really like the acting here, and the horror was just visceral and disturbing. I really loved it. God of Death, directed by Gigi Salguero. I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. Why am I saying stars? Stars. I thought that the the earthquake segment really fun. The God of Death part came out of left field, and it was kind of confusing there. Techno God by Natasha Kermani, 4 out of 5 stars. Really loved the Techno God and the technology aspect and the satire here as well. That was really fun. Dream Kill, directed by Scott Derrickson, is a 4 out of 5. I really like the idea that this kid, this emo guy, has prophetic dreams of people dying and recording them, and the police are trying to solve these murders. Really fun. The ending was also amazing. And then in all of the VHS films, because my boyfriend and I watched all of the VHS series up until we haven't watched Halloween, but that came out this year. So I think 85 came out in 21, actually. I don't know. I'm so sorry. Anyways, I think that 85 has the best wraparound story for these anthologies, which is Total Copy, directed by David Buckner. I gave it a 5 out of 5. And it's a mockumentary documentary about the scientists who discover this alien that begins to imitate things around it, and the payoff at the very end, if you know, you know. I loved it so much. And so, in on average, between those 5 segments, this is a 4 out of 5 for me. Really strong anthology. I love short story anthologies and collections, and so having it in a film format, there's less there in terms of content, but it's a lot more impactful, and so I was really happy with that. Number 6 was a movie that I did have to watch for a class, which was Children of Men, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, which came out in 2006. I gave a 4 out of 5 as well. I was amazed at this movie. And the thing was, I also had to read the script. And I'm not sure if it was purposeful by the teacher or not, but the script, which was written by Alfonso Cuarón, and someone else, I forget who it was very, very different than the actual final product. And so that helped teach about how scripts change and how movies change throughout the process. And it was really fun seeing the script, which I read first before watching the movie. I really liked the script, and then watching the movie, seeing the changes, big changes that made the movie better than the original script was so amazing. Loved this terrifying dystopia, and the way that they used world, or the world building, silent world building, just by showing things happening without explaining anything. Really fun, and a really great technique as well with the camera. I might also want to learn about cinematography and stuff like that. I don't know if that will be a focus that I want to do, but definitely like that is interesting. And camera work in Children of Men, it was really fun. I mean, we've all heard about the one take, that's not a one take, but the one take with the battle scene in the very near the end of the movie. And then it's just very strong emotion that it elicited from me. It was the first time I ever watched it, obviously. And so I was really, really emotionally moved by Children of Men. And I was really happy that I got to watch it for my class as well. Number 5 is Synecdoche, New York, directed by Charlie Kaufman, which came out in 2008. I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is one of the few movies it's very hard for me to cry over something, but at the end of this movie, I cried, and I will give points for that. Philip Seymour Hoffman is the lead here. I watched it because he had died. He died a while ago, and then I wanted to watch the movie because he died, and I only just got around to it. So I'm so sorry I failed you, Philip Seymour Hoffman, but I finally watched it, and he was really, really great in this movie. And it was so emotional. It's so confusing. From what I've heard, Charlie Kaufman, I've not consumed many other things from Charlie Kaufman. I know he wrote the script, but did not direct Eternal Sunshine, which I also really enjoyed. I also read the script for that one. But I know that Charlie Kaufman does a little bit surreal stuff, weird stuff. But I've enjoyed what I've seen of him so far, and so I want to consume more of Charlie Kaufman. And here it was just so confusing, but not in a bad way at all. It served the purpose that it wanted to, I would assume. And I really want to read the script for this one. It's a little daunting. The craziness of the movie, I bet the script is worse. Worse in terms of how crazy it is, but I would assume that it's really good. And also, this movie had some amazing set pieces. Just the huge warehouse where everything takes place in is just it pushes the boundaries of imagination. I really enjoyed that, and just strong emotion overall. And it made me cry, which is very rare for movies to do. For movies or books or anything to make me cry. Number 4, In the Mood for Love, directed by Wong Kar-wai, which came out in 2000. I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. Listen. This is obviously, everyone loves this movie. I also love this movie. I didn't know how this movie was going to be when I came in. And no, I just knew that it was a straight romance, and I tend to stay away from romances because straight romances are a little tiring sometimes. Just romance in general. If it's the main plot, however, this made me. I think this one. No, it didn't make me cry. It almost got there, but it was very strong emotion. I was like, this straight couple is so powerful and so strong, you know. And what I enjoy about this romance, it's not about their gender; it's about their person, and that's what some romances lose me. But anyways, enough about my gripes with romances. This was an emotional and beautiful film, and their relationship was just so poignant and so tragic as well. And I knew what was going to happen. I obviously had heard what would happen at the end of this, but it definitely did not lessen the impact of it as it kept going. And I just thought the camera work as well, the color, the use of music was amazing, and I just came out a much better person after watching this movie. And so, similar to Charlie Kaufman, I want to watch more of Wong Kar-wai's stuff, Chungking Express, and what's the gay romance one? That one, I forgot what it's called, but I also want to watch that one. Getting into my top 3, this next movie, number 3, it's supposed to be lower, but I have to have it within top 3, and it's Grand Theft Hamlet, directed by Penny Grillis and Sam Crane, which came out in 2024. I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. Yes, it is rated lower than In the Mood for Love and Synecdoche, but it's just a personal like surprise for me that I really liked this. Hamlet is my favorite Shakespeare story, and I wanted to consume this because it's a documentary. Did I even say the plot? Oh my god. Well, we all know the plot of Children of Men. Synecdoche, New York is about theater director who's trying to process his age and his fraying relationships that evolves in surrealism. Sorry about that. In the Mood for Love, a married man and a married woman learn that their respective spouses are cheating on them and they contemplate having a relationship with each other. And Grand Theft Hamlet is a documentary about a actual documentary about an actual production of Hamlet put on in Grand Theft Auto Online during the pandemic. So I'll try to remember to say the plots. Anyways, this is a very flawed documentary. I think that they were a bit too aware of its documentary-ness, and I felt like it was not as sincere as it could have been. But it was still, or not. It wasn't as real as it could have been. What they were documenting, and there were some parts that definitely felt manufactured. However, the struggle that these real life people are going through in this time without any jobs. This is because the two men who are putting this film on this the theater play in Grand Theft Auto Online. Um, there are actors, and during that time, they're not getting paid. They don't have any work because it's the middle of COVID. So they're trying to make sure that their lives are worth something, have meaning, want to do something during this tumultuous time in our lives. And I just cannot stop thinking about the highs and lows of this documentary, and the way that it moved was so natural as well. And it did make me cry. It made me cry at the very end because it was so passionate, and it's just the passion I enjoyed watching, and that's what really drew me to this film. And I will not say that it's my favorite film, but it's definitely the one that moved me the most in this year. And then this is a cop out. I am fully aware that this is a cop out. However, my top two and top one are sharing this space. They're going to be twinners, Trinity the Tuck and Monet Exchange up in here. It is Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler, and Weapons, directed by Zach Krager. I did give Sinners a 4.5 out of 5 and Weapons a 5 out of 5. However, the impact of both movies are so immense and so strong that I really just cannot separate one from the other because they're so good and so important to the horror genre that I cannot put one over the other. And it's a cop out, I know, but this is my channel and I talk about media that I want to talk about. And both obviously came out this year, and I watched them in theaters in the full experience that I could, and it was just an amazing experience on both ends. I think I would say that the story and emotion of Sinners is what sticks out for me. I think that the way that it sets up all these amazing characters, and then the tragedy of these vampires attacking, and the time period that they live in was very strong, and the characters' connections as well. The music was amazing as well. So that's the highlight for me. And then the highlight for me for Weapons is the technique and style, the way that the camera moves, the way that it's shot, the way that the actors interact with each other, the way it looks and feels is just amazing. And I had one of the like both movies have what I want in a horror movie, and all the horror movies that I've enjoyed so far, my favorite horror movies, have a moment of strong catharsis. And these two had some of the best moments of catharsis out there. In Sinners, there was two moments of catharsis. One that I feel like was more connected to the plot, and one that was more connected to the historical aspect, in that the plot catharsis was when all the vampires just burst into flames and there was that huge flame tornado. That was amazing. And then the historical catharsis of Smoke just shooting a bunch of KKK members and killing them mercilessly. And that was so emotionally amazing for history, for the historical aspect. And so Sinners has that, above Weapons. Weapons' moment of catharsis was so comedic but still disturbing, having Aunt Gladys be chased by this mob of children, and then it's shot like a comedy. You see it like in the distance, it's just comedic as these children are running across the street chasing after this old woman who's screaming, and then they grab her and they're tearing her apart, literally children tearing apart this old woman who has caused so much pain and suffering, and just the blood and guts and gore being an amazing cathartic moment. And I just all three of those moments were amazing to experience in the theater, and I cannot separate these two films from another show. Twinners, Trinity the Tuck, Monet Exchange, and it's just, both are amazing. I will not make two bad bitches compete against each other, please. Continuing my credentials, I'm gonna do a quick also a bottom 5 movies as well that I watched. The 5 worst movies that I watched this year. I'm gonna spend a little less time going from, I guess, best to least best, which, you know, caveats there. Anyways, 5, Bull Durham I had to watch for my class, directed by Ron Shelton, which came out in 1988. Gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The best thing in the movie was Susan Sarandon. Susan Sarandon was the best part of that movie, and I hate baseball. Baseball? I hate baseball. Number 4, The Yearling, directed by Clarence Brown. I also had to watch for a class. Came out in 1946, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Looked beautiful. I get why it won the Oscar for Best Color, I believe. But it was so annoying that this kid could not just be friends with his dog, but he had to get a deer to be friends with. Like, there's a dog right there. It's literally called Man's Best Friend. To just get the dog. And I think it was Gregory Peck, right? Like Gregory Peck of the How to Kill a Mockingbird fame. He was fine. Gregory Peck is always hot, but whatever. Number 3, The Neon Demon, was a pretty recent movie that I watched, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. I apologize if I mispronounced that, which came out in 2016. It's a 2.5 out of 5 for me. When it came out in 2016, I wanted to watch it, and I didn't get a chance to watch it until now, and it was pretty disappointing. Listen, it's Dakota Fanning, right? Yes. I love Dakota Fanning. I'm so excited for her, as she's going to be Effie Trinket in Sunrise and the Reaping next year. But I loved her here. Joanna Mason, what's her name? Oh my god, I forget her name. Jenna Malone, sorry. Jenna Malone and Dakota Fanning were really good in this movie, but overall it just was more aesthetic over anything. It looked beautiful. It was shot beautifully, but there was no plot that I liked. And when there was a plot, it was so flimsy and thin. And I also wish that it pushed more of the horror even further. There should have been more horror, and there wasn't. What do you mean, the neon demon? Where is this demon? Just that glowing triangle? It's not doing anything. Hello? Number 2, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. I also had to watch for class. Directed by Robert Ellis. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. It came out in 1968. Robert Ellis Miller. Sorry, my notes are a little messy here. 2.5 out of 5 for me. Listen. This was a depressing movie, and I had to watch it at 1.5. I had to watch it quickly because I was getting so bored and I was so tired. I did not care about any of these characters, and it just felt boring. And then he kills himself at the end because someone is mean at him once. Hated that. So boring. And then number 1, the worst movie I watched in the year was Into the Abyss, directed by Matthias Rispau, which came out in 2022. I believe, I forget what country. I think it's Spanish or Portuguese or Brazilian. I'm sorry. It's a foreign film. I gave it 2.5 out of 5. It looks amazing, but similarly to Neon Demon, it has barely any plot, and the plot is also not good. And it's a cosmic horror that I really like cosmic horror, and it's one of the few cosmic horror things I consumed in this year, and it was so disappointing because it felt, you could see the budget going to other things than what it should have gone to. And it looked amazing, but it was like it was a nothing burger. Towards the end, towards like the last 30 minutes, it devolves into just like a forest, and you can see they run out of budget there. Um, Obviously, I can't really say if any of that is true. It's just my own opinion, but I was just disappointed with the cosmic horror aspect, which was very, very minimal. And so that's why it's the worst movie that I watched in this year. Moving on, I want to give 10 movies that I want to watch in 2026. I don't know if I don't really like doing TBRs, so books that I want to read in the next month or year or something like that. But I definitely have like books that I want to read that I just don't own yet. And so with movies, it's a little different because it's a different way to consume them. So these are 10 movies that I want to watch in the next year and hopefully will be featured on my monthly watch wrap ups and my movie journal as well. These are movies that I really, really want to watch. In no particular order, Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro, which came out this year in 2025. I really wanted to watch it in theaters. I never got the chance to, specifically because it was coming around the same time as my birthday, but it was not showing in any theaters nearby, and any theaters I could get to, I just couldn't drive all the way there and also back in time for work and also food, etc. So I wasn't able to watch it in theaters, which sucks. But I will watch it eventually at some point. The next movie is The Emperor's Naked Army Marches On, directed by Kazuo Hara, which came out in 1987. This is a documentary. I've heard that it's one of the most disturbing documentaries, or it's definitely a hard documentary to watch. But it sounds really interesting, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. And I know that it featured in my textbook in my film history textbook, but it wasn't talked about much. But then I saw someone else on YouTube talk about, I forget who, I'm so sorry, talk about in the Emperor's Naked Army, and I didn't watch the show his video because I didn't want to spoil it for myself. So that's one movie I want to watch. Two so far. I saw The TV Glow, directed by Jane Schoenbrunn, I believe it is, which came out in 2024. Queer movie, I have to watch it. Like, come on. What's his name? Justice Smith, who was in Detective Pikachu and Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, among other things. Justice Smith. I want to watch. I saw The TV Glow. I also want to watch The Fall, directed by Tarsem Singh, which came out in 2006. Looks beautiful. Jude Law. Okay, I get it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Fake fan. It's Lee Pace, not Jude Law. Jude Law is still really hot. It's Lee Pace that's in The Fall. Lee Pace from Guardians of the Galaxy is what I know him from, at least. Lee Pace is still really... No, he's also Thranduil, right? In The Hobbit? Yeah, he's also hot. Jude Law, Lee Pace, if they star in a movie together, it's over for me. Is so hot. Yeah, and it looks beautiful as well. Pretty surreal, I believe. So I want to watch that. Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, directed by Pedro Almodovar, which came out in 1988. I was wanting to add a movie here that starred Rosy de Palma, who is a famous Spain actress. I had seen one of her movies, Madame, many years ago, and I don't remember much of it, but I remember being struck by Rosy de Palma. So I wanted to watch a movie of her in her prime, and the most on Letterboxd, the one that the first movie that pops up when you look up Rosy de Palma is this one. So that's on my list. Frogman, directed by Anthony Cousins, which came out in 2023. Horror mockumentary. I watched Troll Hunters, and I've watched Blair Witch Project and The Blair Witch, all those like horror found footage mockumentary style movies. Frogman is the next one that I want to watch. It looks so stupid, but so good at the same time. Watcher, directed by Chloe Okuno, which came out in 2022. I want to watch it because I'm trying to watch most of the things that Micah Monroe has been in, because Micah Monroe is in my favorite movie It Follows, and I loved her there. I loved her in Long Legs, and so I want to watch more of her stuff. I also watched her movie Significant Other. It was fine. She was great in it. The movie was fine. And Watcher is the next one that I want to watch. Oh, of her. Watcher? I hardly even know. Sorry. Spree, directed by Eugene. I'm so sorry. I'm going to butcher this. Colt Yarenko, which came out in 2020. Oh my god, I forgot the actor's name. He's in Stranger Things, obviously. Looks like a fun ride. Strange Harvest, directed by Stuart Ortiz, which came out in 2024. I recently heard about this, and it's a documentary about like true crime. It's a mockumentary about a true crime murderer that also is cosmic horror. I don't know how, and I'm excited to see that. And finally, The Ugly Stepsister, directed by Emily Christie Blichfeld, which came out in 2025. This I've seen compared to The Substance, which I also adored watching last year, 2024. Loved The Substance, and I've heard that this movie is very similar to that in some themes and maybe also the body horror. So that's also on my list. So that is 10 movies, right? Yes, 10 movies that I watched, that I want to watch in the next year, that I will probably be talking about on my Filmtube channel. Next thing that I want to cover is TV shows. I sort of lump TV shows and movies in the same category in terms of I most likely will be working on a TV show when I get into script writing. So I want to watch more TV shows. However, I'm not going to make an effort of it for the next year like I am with film, because to me, unfortunately, because of my schedule, because of my energy level, TV shows are a little bit harder to consume because they are longer versus a movie, which is only 2 hours, 3 hours at most of my day, while a TV show is a lot longer. But I'm definitely wanting to talk about some shows. I will be watching some shows, and I was able to watch some shows this year. So, also, sorry, before I forget, these are my notes. Is there an app like Letterboxd for TV shows? Because there is, I see TV shows on Letterboxd, and it marks it as like one whole movie, and I don't feel like that's the same. I'm not sure. If you, viewer at home, know about a Letterboxd for TV shows, let me know. I want to participate in that. But anyways, this year I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I watched 3 animes because my boyfriend watched them and he thought I would like them. And so it was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Loved watching it. It was really fun. I mostly wanted to watch it because I wanted to consume the Alchemist storyline, because I'm also listening to the Magnus Protocol, which covers Alchemist stuff, alchemy, and so I wanted to watch Full Metal Alchemist because of that, and I really enjoyed my time watching this TV show. He also made me watch Princess Jellyfish. I believe there's only 1 season. I'm not fully sure. It was charming. It was good. It was annoying. I liked it. I just kind of got annoyed at the characters at times, but it was a pretty fun experience. And he also had me watch the 1st season of Black Butler, because he told me the 2nd season's not good, and then it gets better in the 3rd and 4th, but it doesn't make sense to just sort of jump over there. So we just watched the 1st season. I liked it. I felt like it dragged on a bit too much, but I like the character arcs and storylines here. Sebastian, he's not hot, but he's not physically hot to me. He's conventionally hot, obviously, but he's not physically hot to me. But his demeanor, how he is, what he does, is really hot. You know what I mean? Besides that, we also watched Sharp Objects. I rewatched the show. I had watched it when it was first coming out on HBO, and I recently read the book Sharp Objects by Gillian Anderson Flynn. I forget the author's name. I read the book and I wanted to watch the show again, so we did, and I feel I liked it. This rewatch, it definitely dropped in quality as it kept going, and then had like one random really good episode at the very end. the second to last episode, but the first 2 episodes were amazing. But overall, it was a good show. I really like the editing there as well. I might emulate that when I'm learning how to edit. This, I don't know if it really counts, but we did watch a lot of Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race and international versions. He and my boyfriend and I watched a handful of them together, and I've been keeping up with most all of the Drag Race shows except for US Drag Race, because there's a different way to watch those episodes, but international, it's all going to be on the same app website, so I just watch it through that. And our highlights, Canada season 6 is ongoing and is really good. I forgot that Canada season 5 ended early in the year, but that was also a really good season as well. España season 5 is amazing, and Seton Greco is an amazing winner. And France All Star season 1 I watched by myself, and I really enjoyed my time there. I will continually watch Drag Race. I don't know if I'll talk about it. There's so many Drag Race YouTubers that I just don't want to try to compete with them. So, but that's some. I'll mention that. And also, we are currently still watching Percy Jackson season 2, Sea of Monsters. Love it so far. It's amazing. As of today, it's coming out tonight at midnight, I think. So we're probably going to watch it before we leave. I'm recording this a day before Christmas, or 2 days. Colombian Christmas is weird. Whatever. So Percy Jackson is definitely something that we will continue watching throughout the next year. And then some TV shows that I want to watch. And so there's a handful of TV shows that I wanted to watch because I want to make TV shows similar to that. And I want to just get the knowledge of the TV shows. So Haunting of Hill House, it's a adaptation of the Shirley Jackson book, which I also have. I have not read the book yet, and I will. Once I do, I'll watch the show. Three Body Problem, also on Netflix. I have read the first book, and I want to continue reading. I have read the first book. I need to reread it because I barely understood it, and then read the second and third book. And I know that their Three Body Problem show is covering parts of the second book, so I want to do that before I watch that show. Midnight Mass, Vampires, hello. All these mostly are on Netflix, and so I'm probably going to do like a Netflix binge sometime in the summer when I don't have as much classwork or at all classwork. But yeah, Ozark is a recommendation from a partner in one of my classes that I don't really know anything about it, but I know that he really enjoyed it and he really liked the family dynamics, character dynamics there, and so that's a show that I will watch. 1899 is a 1 season 8 episode show on Netflix that got canceled that looks amazing. It looks terrifying. It looks right up my alley. So I will watch it and see how I feel about it. And Neon Genesis Evangelion, famous anime that I feel like if I'm consuming a little bit more anime, might as well watch that one because it has impacted a lot of the media that I have consumed as well. And so, yeah, those are movies that I want to watch, or shows that I want to watch. I'm lumping Frankenstein in here as well because Frankenstein's also on Netflix. So I think I might have to get on Netflix at some point. Oh well. And to close out my introduction into Filmtube, I wanted to highlight some Filmtubers that I personally follow. And if you know of any other accounts that are in part of the Filmtube, let me know so I can subscribe to them and also consume their content. Possessed by Horror does amazing content as well. I really like her opinions. They're really close to mine. And I really like she made a recent video about ranking all of the movies that she watched in the past year. And she ranked, what movie was it? It was a movie that was not well received by everyone. She ranked it above Sinners because she just personally really liked it, and I bold move on her part. I will support her. Thomas Flight is a great channel that also talks about film techniques and acting techniques. I really liked his video on character actors and how important they are to the acting ecosystem. So he's really fun to watch as well. Cold Crash Productions hasn't made any movies, any videos recently, but they did have a video talking about their favorite movies in 2024, three of which were produced and starred by Daisy Ridley, and I totally respect that, and I love Daisy Ridley. Loved her in Ophelia, so respect so much for Cold Crash for saying that. Culture, culture, culture kitsch. Oh my god, culture, culture kitsch. Culture kitsch. I am so sorry. Why is that so hard to say right now? Culture Kish. I started seeing Bobby on TikTok, and I was like, she has an amazing presentation and voice. And seeing that she had a YouTube, I'm like, oh my god, yes. She recently made a video about the history, sort of like a history of the iterations of Frankenstein. That were really fun as well. And she's just an amazing presenter, and just hearing her is amazing. And she has amazing opinions as well. Sloane Stowe doesn't post as much, but I really do enjoy her videos. She made a video recently about how good the movie for Perks of Being a Wallflower was, because it was directed and written, I believe. Written or directed? I know he wrote it, but I think he directed it as well, by Stephen Chbosky, who also wrote the book, and how the change in medium affected the story in positive and negative ways, and how it made the I forget if she says if she liked the movie or book better, but she definitely said that both are amazing for their respective mediums. So and she's done other things as well. She also did a video about wine mom culture and how weird it is, and I'm like, you know what? You're so right about that. And also, there's just a jumble of other larger accounts that I don't feel like, you know, I feel like everyone knows about it. You know, Shay Frillis, Amanda the Jedi, Cinefix, Studio Binder. We love Studio Binder. Dead Meat channel. I love the Dead Meat channel, the kill count videos. I inspired by the kill count, obviously. So those are channels I also follow. So if you know of any booktube channels on YouTube that you think I should follow, let me know, and I will subscribe to them, because I want to be in this community like I am in this community with Book Talk. So thank you so much if you got this far. Thank you for allowing me to have this introduction into the Filmtube. If you got to this point, thank you so much. I hope to see you in the next year as I keep talking about the books that I want to talk about and the movies that I want to talk about, as well as any other media that I want to talk about. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to be passionate, and I'll see you later.